What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Twigger, and I've got another high ELO commentary for you folks. Focusing on this player right here, you might see him as DHN, which is actually an alternate ID for Immortals Huni, which is, I would argue, one of my favorite top laners in the professional scene. I don't mean just in North America or EU West or anything like that. I mean in the world. I love watching Huni's top lane play because he brings a bunch of very interesting champions. He's got a very aggressive playstyle, and it just, his whole style of playing League of Legends I find is awesome. And I'm excited to be casting this game because he's playing Jarvan, but the cool thing is that he's playing against the reworked Vladimir. Of course, with the large mage update that happened in the recent patches, Vladimir is very, very different now. And even patch 6.10, he actually got buffed a little bit, but I'm not even going to talk about that because Soraka actually going down for the first blood. During this commentary, of course, we'll be focusing mostly on Huni to try to see how he's building. We'll make a lot of comments about what he's doing and how he plays Jarvan up in the top lane. But, of course, we can't just stay up in the top lane and ignore everything else that's going in the game. So we're definitely going to be kind of doing this like a normal commentary with everybody involved. But when we get an opportunity to talk about Huni, we will definitely see how he's doing. Just like that when we get to miss an EQ combo. But everybody does it. What can you do? Right now, Huni winning out on the CS, 16-10, but of course, it's a huge minion wave that's coming into Vladimir's turn, so if he does a good job in last hitting these, should even it out pretty well. But as we saw during that little scuffle there, Huni's actually running the Thunderlord's Decree on the top lane Jarvan, which kind of surprises me. Normally, with a kind of tankier top laner, you would go for something like the Grasp of the Undying, going for those trades and trying to remain healthy, especially against the Vladimir, who's got his own innate form of lifesteal through that transfusion. So yeah, choosing to go for more damage, so it kind of gets me to think that maybe Huni's going to be building a much more aggressive Jarvan, rather than building him kind of standard tanky bruiserish. But he's already going back in onto the Vladimir. Not much is really going on there because we got to talk about the gank that's currently going down in the bot. The Caitlyn is turning her attention right onto the Soraka, and luckily Thresh positioning himself so well, like basically broke the ankles of the enemy team there. Just nobody paid attention to the Thresh, and I think TF is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that TF went AFK and Syndra just absolutely capitalized on it. What can you do, man? Ranked is ranked. You gotta do what you gotta do. They're still chasing this Caitlyn and Thresh combo. They managed to do a lot of damage back to the Rek'Sai, but of course you got a Soraka there, so Rek'Sai is just going to get healed up at the cost of Soraka's health. Huni's just continuing to use his Dragon Lance to try to poke down the Vladimir. The one great thing I find about Jarvan, at least, is that his Q is actually a very long range. It's a really good poke tool to keep yourself while you're farming, just to get some poke off onto the enemy champion while you're still getting some CS. And yeah, it does look like the TF finally did disconnect, but then he does reconnect. Sadly, he's coming back with a death. It's kind of one of those, it's great that you're back, but yeah, Syndra kind of abused the fact that you were just standing there auto-attacking. And you know, it's one of those, do you have an argument? Is it good sportsmanship to just let that guy live? But it's also ranked, and his internet is that, and I don't know. I always try to be a good sport in things like normals and things like that, but I understand that in ranked, you're going to look for every advantage that you can get, and sadly, one of the advantages was TF was just standing there auto-attacking minions. I love this Kazakh's name, though. I'm a god, you're trash. Well, straight to the point. Is that Double Lift's jungle account? So it looks like Huni, once again, he's got mana again, and he's gone for a triple longsword build. So we're probably going to be seeing that built into a Ghost Blade eventually, because the Ghost Blade takes a ridiculous amount of longswords to get that Dirk, followed by the Warhammer. Looks like TF DC'd again, and Syndra not allowing him to walk back or anything like that. Yeah, gonna use that ultimate as well. So yeah, I would call this BM. Oh my god, the Cataclysm coming down from Huni. An insane amount of damage, and the Flash Dragon Strike coming out of Huni. Oh man, that was a lot of damage that I wasn't expecting. So the Cataclysm hit like a sack of bricks. And then following up on that just by flashing and Dragon Lancing, how much damage do all those abilities do? So his ultimate right now dealing 265 damage, followed by the Dragon Lance, or the Dragon Strike, sorry, that does another about 210 damage. So yeah, man, the burst potential out of this Jarvan. It kind of reminds me, if you guys watched I believe it was, what, Season 5 or maybe even Season 4, when Gravity was in the LCS, and Keen brought the Jarvan mid, which was an amazing thing to see, but I feel like we're going to be seeing something similar to that. This burst damage Jarvan, which actually works better nowadays than it did before, because when Jarvan got updated, his major update was at the Cataclysm. His ultimate, when he jumps down and makes a gigantic circular arena around the person, actually deals AoE damage to surrounding people who are in proximity of that. Before, it was just a purely execution tool or positioning tool that you would use, but now it's being used as like a full-on engage and serious amount of damage tool, which I'm curious to see how that's going to impact when you build like full AD on this Jarvan. How much damage is that going to do to the backline if you jump in on the Syndra, the Ezreal, and the Soraka? God knows, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to do. But of course, that's going to mean very little if we don't have the Twisted Fate come back. Right now, Syndra managed to get 2 kills on him, not like it was overly hard, wasn't really juking a whole hell of a lot, but she's got double his CS because, of course, he hasn't been here. And it looks like, yeah, the Syndra also pushing up the turret. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those... Yeah, I don't know. It's ranked. You know, I don't blame anybody for that. But, whoa! Man, the Thunderlord's decree damage coming with this Jarvan. Cataclysm going down in the pool being used by the Vladimir. It's not going to be enough, though. He's going to heal up a little bit with the transfusion. But the Dragon Lance is not going to be enough. But the E is going to be enough. That's a Mossian standard. We set the standard pretty damn high, folks. And he stabbed it right into the heart of that Vladimir. Just a nice little way to end off that kill. So, yeah, Huni's now sitting at 2-0 and 0.55 CS to Vladimir's 49. But now Huni's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get stunned up by that Syndra, and the ultimate's gonna come down, and that is going to be one dead Jarvan up in the top lane with a nice roam from the Syndra, but it's only as nice of a roam as you could possibly think because she doesn't have a lane opponent, right? So she can just kind of walk wherever the hell she wants. But the current kill score, 3-3. The red team is still leading in gold, 13,000 to 12.7k. Kha'Zix is coming down for a gank now, but it looks like he's just doing the Krugs right now. It looks like the Soraka is going to be hooked in by the Thresh. Thresh taking a lot of turret aggro. The Arcane Barrage is going to land on both the Kha'Zix and the Thresh. It's not going to be enough. Caitlyn trying to get in using the heal to actually get the Soraka, but sadly the Lantern was just put a little bit too far forward, and it looks like the Caitlyn could not escape from that one. And it looks like the Kha'Zix is going to flash over the wall. Syndra is going to follow. The Rek'Sai's here as well. The Jukes are coming out. Unreal, he's still alive and gonna jump over. He might try to execute himself. I don't think he's been hit in quite some time. Not sure if this is really gonna work. The ultimate coming down again to make sure that he's invisible for as long as possible, and now he's gonna try for the execute, but no! The flash from the Rek'Sai is going to be enough to clean that one up, or at least give him the damage so that way it's not an execute on the turret. And looks like the Syndra had also hit him recently as well, so looks like it wasn't going to be an execute anyways, but still a pretty phenomenal juking play coming from that Kha'Zix, and I think they just went a little bit too aggressive in the bot lane. Speaking of aggression, we have Huni going in once again onto that Vladimir. And there's going to be the EQ combo. Not going to knock him up, but he almost has his ultimate available. He does have his ultimate available now. So, going to be curious to see if this Vlad's going to be able to pull that Cataclysm damage. I think he's going to probably try for it. That's why he's probably holding on to it for as long as he is. The mid lane turret is finally going to fall, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the other lanes. Because, of course, with the TF not being here and now Syndra with nothing really to do, doesn't want to push up too far to make herself vulnerable to any type of ganks. Oh, that was just barely. That was like just the tip. Just the tip. So Syndra's now probably just going to roam up to places like the top lane, like the bottom lane, and just make their lives a living hell. Of course, Ward's going to be taken down. There's a pink ward in that brush. And we're really just waiting for that TF to come back. And we really do hope he does come back because I really want to see Huni's Jarvan carry this game. That's what I'm looking for. But, you know, there's only so much you can do in a 4v5. We've all been there and we all hate it. But the bot lane is doing very, very well. 84 to 79 in terms of CS. Ezreal is going to get hooked up here and flayed. Lot of damage coming down, but of course the Arcane Shift is going to come out and avoid the Piltover Peacemaker. So not a ton of damage going down onto the Ezreal, but definitely enough to throw them through a little bit of a loop, and they're going to have to just kind of run away from this one. The bottom lane is gonna probably try to fight for this pink ward, but looks like they're actually not gonna do that because, of course, with the Syndra being here and them having no backup, that is a 3v2, and it looks like the Huni is the Jarvan is coming down here. Huni's gonna get in with the EQ combo, not gonna land on anybody. Ultimate is gonna come down onto the Syndra, and that is gonna be a kill for the Kha'Zix, his first of the game. Arcane Barrage coming down, missing the low health Caitlyn, and she's gonna get out just with a little bit of health, and I think they're maybe gonna lose a turret for this one because the TP was followed by the Vladimir. Sadly, he was a little bit late to that engage, But they are looking and setting their sights onto that first tier bottom lane turret. Jarvan is staying for a little bit longer, trying to maybe clear some of this out. He does have the Titanic Hydra, so he's got a lot of health and a lot of damage with that auto attack reset. A lot of damage coming down onto the Vladimir, and he takes a couple turret shots, not even able to pull in time. Just underestimating the damage, and it looks like Huni is going to go in for the Ezreal, but he's going to Arcane Shift away from that one. Huni's going to flash away to make sure that the Soraka Q doesn't actually kill him, which is always kind of embarrassing because it doesn't do a lot of damage to begin with. But now Soraka might be in a little bit of trouble as the second line of people who kind of died or were coming back into the lane are now back. Isolation damage onto the Rek'Sai is going to get jumped on. The Soraka being isolated as well. The Kazakh's damage is huge, netting himself a double kill and a great 90 caliber net coming from the Caitlyn to avoid the stun of the Syndra. So even 4v5, these guys seem to be really sticking in here. The Kazakh's now at 3-1-2, Huni at 3-1-1, Caitlyn 2-1-3, and this Thresh at 0-1-5. Really doing a great job as that Thresh. It was one of those, like, he died, but the fight ended up going on for so long in that bot lane that Thresh respawned and then came back and made it a fantastic flay play. I know, it sounds fantastic. Flay play. Play with the flay. And then they just ended up cleaning up another couple of kills. You can never underestimate the amount of damage that isolated Kazakh's Q does. It's absolutely insane. And of course, once he got the first kill onto, I believe it was the Ezreal, or no, sorry, the Rek'Sai, the Soraka then became isolated, and the amount of damage that was being thrown out was just insane. Syndra staying in the bot lane. Of course, she's got nothing to do. The mid lane is already pushing, so there's no point in her being anywhere else but the bot lane. But the problem is, when you're in the bot lane with two others, you're all sharing experience, so you're kind of hindering your team as well. I believe that Huni actually stole that. No, he did not. Dang. Looks like the smite did come out from the Rek'Sai, and he was able to secure her own blue buff. Really would have liked to see Huni secure that one, but oh well, what can you do? Caitlyn farming up pretty darn well, but so is the Ezreal. They're both sitting at just under 100 with 99. But when you look at some of the major differences here, which are making a difference in the total gold score, 94 to 70 in favor of Huni's Jarvan, 94 to 47 in favor of that Kazakh's, and it looks like we're going aggressive once again in this lane. The stun's gonna land. That was such a misplay from the Caitlyn, but we won't talk about that quite yet. The ultimate gonna come down from the Syndra, but it's gonna be countered by the ultimate from the Jarvan, which does a lot more damage right now and is going to blow up the mid laner for the blue side. But that was such a misplay from the Caitlyn. Was standing there trying to get as much damage as possible onto the Ezreal. The lantern was there for her to click, but she didn't do it in time and got snared by Soraka's E, and then she couldn't escape. So just, you got to click that a little bit earlier. Kazakh's getting caught out a little bit here. Does have upgraded jump, though, so not really going to be too much of a concern for him. Just going to jump over the wall, take that Thresh Express to safety, and he's going to go back into his jungle with his 4th kill after killing that Syndra. Very, very nice stuff, but of course you guys are seeing, even at the top ELO, sometimes these mistakes do happen. Nobody is perfect. And no, man, the execute onto the Ezreal. This Kazakh's damage is insane. Going to burst that ultimate as well. Going to jump in, going to get interrupted, though, by the Rek'Sai, but it's not going to matter. The Kazakh's jump is going to fail over the wall, but now he's got Caitlyn here for backup. I think Kazakh just needs to run away from this one. The Rek'Sai is going to chase with the E, just going to knock up the Caitlyn, and now this fight looks like it's over, but Kazakh's 6-1-2, doing an insane amount of execution damage, one-shotting the Ezreal, following it up with the Soraka, even through the flash. It was not enough to get away from that scary-ass bug. It's those kinds of bugs that, like, live in Australia and things like that. Those gigantic ones that you don't know how to deal with, like the size of a dinner plate. That's what Kazakh's is right now. Like, it's not like one of those tiny little bugs that you find in your home and you go like, yeah, okay, you're dead. But no, this Kazakh's is like dinner plate spider worthy that everybody's terrified of, and it kills everybody in their sleep. That's what I'm assuming bugs in Australia do. Sorry, Australians, that's just what I think. So we do have actually a pretty damn close game. 26.5k to 23.4k, but oh, it might not be close for much longer. Thresh is going to try to run away from this one, but the ultimate coming out from the Syndra. Rek'Sai going to clean this one up. Sadly, Ezreal wasn't able to get a part of that one, so it doesn't get an assist or a kill. But yeah, it was just, sadly, they were just a little bit too far pushed up. And the problem about being 4v5 is that you can't really be too far pushed up because shit like that happens. Right? You just can't get things in your favor because you can't push up, you can't get turret pressure, because you could very well have a 3 or 4v2 in the bot lane, and there's no one that can really help you with that because Syndra's just roaming the entire time because there's no pressure in her lane. But 11 to 8 still the kill score. still wondering if this TF's ever going to reconnect. He did reconnect before, but it looks like the Ezreal, oh my, executing damage. He's not going to go down because of those Sirakios. Going to be pretty much full HP again. Kha'Zix probably isn't going to be in here to actually steal the dragon. Rek'Sai is going to clean that one up. That's their second dragon of the game, but we are seeing the damage. Huni is now here. The execute damage onto the Vladimir is doing an insane amount. I'm God, you're trash, going to pick up the first kill. Vladimir going down, but Caitlyn also paying the price. Jarvan is going to take down the Soraka. The burst damage coming from the Cataclysm that Jarvan's throwing out. Huni trying to stay alive, but it's not going to work. But Kha'Zix is going to jump in and get the execute damage. The Q not landing onto the Syndra, which could have very well been a Q with that execute, but not quite enough. Kha'Zix is going to try to get in. Is going to flash, but it's not going to be enough damage, and Syndra's going to push him away. It's sadly the Thresh hook not going to land, which could have netted them an ace, but sadly just a little bit too far away with that hook. Just didn't guess the right path, but we're seeing the damage that's coming out of this Kha'Zix, and also the Jarvan, you know, survived a long time taking on two people, managing to get a lot of damage done as well, but sadly the Caitlyn got taken down so early in that fight alongside the Vladimir that just ended up not being good for anybody. But 15-10 the current kill score, a 3,000 gold lead, even over a 3,000 gold lead in favor of the red side. Huni really helping with that one with the 40 CS lead over his counterpart Vladimir, and 4 kills and 3 assists over the Vladimir. So right now I think one of the main things about why this is so close is that Vladimir really isn't that much of a factor. He's so weak in comparison to the Jarvan that it's not seeming like a 4v4, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely, he's not providing as much as Jarvan is to the team whatsoever. Vladimir needs to find himself some kills, or at least get some more assists to get some more items on the board, so that way he can be more of a factor in these team fights, because that's one of Vladimir's specialties, right? He amplifies the magic damage. Syndra should be able to blow people up, and then Vladimir tries to sustain himself and keep himself alive with that pool, but sadly he just can't keep himself alive with that pool because he uses it, and he comes back up and he gets obliterated by this Kha'Zix. But we are seeing the Black Cleaver coming out for Huni's Jarvan. He's just, man, he's raking up some damage. And Jarvan is now here. Ace in the hole, going to go in, but he is going to get blocked by the Soraka. Jarvan is now using the Cataclysm onto the Ezreal. Right now, nobody's taking up the turret, and Caitlyn is going to get the kill onto the Soraka with a nice 90 caliber net, and Jarvan's going to take down the Ezreal with absolutely no assist, just sheer, like, sweat off his brow and sheer grit, and he just jumps in and absolutely annihilates the AD carry of the blue team without much challenge, really. Ezreal had used his Arcane Shift early, so once the Jarvan Cataclysm came down, there was nothing that the Ezreal could really do. He was just kind of stuck in there with a really fed Jarvan and a pissed off Huni. Jarvan is now going to try to get in here onto the Syndra. I keep on wanting to call her Shyvana, but here comes the execute damage from everybody, really. My lord, Caitlyn even surviving that one through the ultimate of the Syndra, and now all of a sudden you've got the second tier bot lane turret being taken down. That was a 3 kill and 2 turret swing for the red side, who's now sitting on a 6.5 thousand gold lead. That's incredible. I just don't really know what's happening. Like, maybe the blue team just isn't really playing this appropriately. I would probably try to group up as 5 and try to push somewhere, but here comes the Kha'Zix trying to get the execute onto the Ezreal. Not going to be quite enough to get through the heals from the Soraka, but the Rift Herald did just die to, of course, the Baron to allow the Big Worm to come in. Big Brother's got to make his appearance at some point in the next 8 seconds. Yeah, a minion Rift Herald is slaying the Rift Herald. I always get juked out by that. Like, I'm like, oh, somebody took the Rift Herald. No, Rift Herald just kind of like seppuku to himself, and then oh, Jarvan, come on now, Huni. You can't make mistakes like that. That's an error. You've got to practice that. You've got to make it over that wall. Especially in a 4v5 situation. The Rek'Sai is trying to pincer off the Caitlyn and also the Thresh, but a great flame followed by a trap is going to keep them alive. Caitlyn taking down about a quarter of the health, but the flash is going to come through from the Rek'Sai. The box going down as well to slow down their onslaught. It looks like the Syndra is going to get hit by the box as well, and now they're looking to move in. Jarvan is here, same with the Kha'Zix. Everybody's going to get locked down in the Cataclysm, but that might not be a good thing. Kha'Zix being taken down by the Ezreal, but it looks like it is enough damage from the Jarvan and also the Caitlyn to take them down. Nice Arcane Shift from the Ezreal, but will it be enough? The flash having to come down from Huni, but Caitlyn is now here. The heal coming down from the Ezreal is going to keep him alive, and the barrier being used, I think, by the Caitlyn. I don't know if she has barrier. No, she has heal. Just a shield coming down from the Locket of the Iron Solari, I guess, and it looks like that is going to be a kill for Pocket Rhino's Thresh onto the Vladimir, and that was a 4-for-1 exchange in favor of the red team, and the Ezreal is barely alive. So one of the things that we're seeing here is that even though it's 4v5, the amount that these guys have become fed, like 7-2 and 9 for the Jarvan, 9-2 and 6 for the Kazakhs. It's made them so strong that these early games are really working out for them, these early fights. But Rek'Sai using her ultimate to try to get in here. Right now the Thresh is doing a pretty good job at holding them together, trying to make sure that the Rek'Sai can't go on any of the low targets, mainly the Jarvan and the Caitlyn. I think they are going to get out of this one, of course, with the 90 caliber net and the Jarvan's EQ combo. Oh, man, you got to land those. Come on, Huni, you're better than this. Oh, boy. Arcane Barrage coming out, but it's not going to land on Jarvan. It looks like they're just going to go right back to their base, but Rek'Sai is looking for something here. Gonna try to get in here, is gonna knock up the Jarvan and trying to get the execute. It's going to be enough, and Caitlyn without the damage is not going to be able to respond to that one. I don't know why they stayed so long underneath that turret. I figured that you would have just kind of run back to the safety of your base knowing how close Rek'Sai was. Maybe they didn't know how close Rek'Sai was. They just saw the Arcane Barrage, but didn't think that Rek'Sai followed through that much. But very nice play by the Rek'Sai, getting a shutdown onto the Jarvan. 300 gold for the team. I think... Oh, Syndra's waiting for this one. So there's the W, there's the automatic damage, but the execute damage from Kazakhs. You can't be isolated around this bug. Just destroying the Syndra without a second glance. So that's a one, not even a 1-for-1. It was just a 1 for none. Thresh making sure that he's tanky enough with that Locket of the Iron Solari, giving himself enough magic resistance that this Syndra won't just completely obliterate him just with her ultimate, which we've seen that before, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a good thing to just get one-shotted by a Syndra, but it's one of those point-and-click abilities that are so annoying to deal with that if you're behind and she's really far ahead, you just get annihilated. But for having 2 free kills and nothing but free farm in the early game, Syndra's not doing well. She's 4, 5, and 4. So she's really not that fed, even though she got 2 very early kills. She's died the second most, well, technically tied for the second most on her team. And she's not farming that great. 130 CS. Even Vladimir, who was 40 CS down a couple minutes ago, and is now closer to 50 CS down, more than 50 CS down. Sorry, 60 CS down exactly. Kazakhs is picking up the dragon, but Syndra is sitting at 135 farm. Even Ezreal's beating that. Pretty much everybody's beating that. So I'm kind of just curious that I feel as though in a 4v5 situation, if you are planning on trying to win this game, your Syndra should have just farmed up like absolute mad. She should have just been incredibly difficult to deal with. But sadly, those constant roams down to the bot lane for Syndra and Rek'Sai didn't actually pay off. If they had gotten a bunch of kills, if they had really set them behind, then those roams would have been worth it. But now you just have an underfarmed Syndra, and everybody else on the red team has managed to get kills, and they're now quite far ahead. Kazakhs has his 10th kill of the game with the Duskblade of Drakthar. So he's going to be doing an insane amount of damage, getting that auto attack off, and then every piece of damage following up on that is going to burst later on like a mini Zed ultimate. Oh, the prodigal child returns. Welcome back, TF. I'm kind of hoping that what he was just doing was just like resetting everything. We did see him return before, but then he disconnected immediately afterwards, like just after a couple minutes. So I'm wondering if maybe it wasn't just a restart the client. It might have just been like restart the router, maybe restart the computer, try to see what you can do. The execute damage coming out from the Kazakhs not going to be quite enough, but burning the ultimate from the Soraka and basically everything they had, also the heal from the Ezreal. That is the threat of this Kazakhs right now. Oh man, TF's gone again. The Flay coming out from the Thresh, trying to keep everybody away. The jump coming out from the Kazakhs, rather than taking the Lantern, decides to jump out to safety. Probably would have been better to take the Lantern just in case they did manage to follow through. You would have your jump. But once again, it's just, they both made it away. The ace in the hole going to go down onto the Ezreal. Kind of a curious idea. I'm not entirely sure what they were planning on having happen there, because of course you've got a Soraka on the enemy team. Not really like you're going to be able to do a lot. But right now we have Huni versus the Rek'Sai. Huni is kind of destroying this Rek'Sai, but doesn't want to face the Vladimir and the Rek'Sai at the same time, so he's just going to run away from that one. Of course, we did see that the TF was here, and now he's gone again. What can you do, right? But the good thing is that at least he's trying to reconnect. Like, I don't know what's going on his end, but like, once again, hopefully we'll see him come back. But this time he didn't even, like, he reconnected and then he didn't even move into the lane or anything like that. He just disconnected while he was still in the base. So not entirely sure what's going on there. But in terms of itemage, not really a lot has changed here, but one of the key items is Warmog's armor has been built on Huni. So he can jump in, trade a lot of damage, run out, and then when that procs, like when that passive procs on the Warmog's armor, because I do believe he has over 3,000 health. Yeah, he does. Oh, the flash coming in from the Jarvan, the Cataclysm landing on both the Syndra and also the Ezreal. So much damage coming down. The flash coming down from the Caitlyn as well to make sure that he actually got the damage down to actually kill that Syndra. Ezreal taking a lot of damage, but now it looks like Caitlyn might be in a bad spot, but the isolation damage can't seem to speak during this fight. The isolation damage coming out from the Cats is going to be enough to take down the Ezreal. Now it's a 2v1, but here comes the Thresh to have some support. The hook is going to go wide, but the execution damage is going to be enough from the Kazakhs, missing that W to get the slow onto the Vladimir and to maybe secure, I believe, his second kill of the fight. The Ignite going down onto the Vladimir. The hook is going to go wide, and that guy's going to be able to run away with the Ignite ticking, but with that Ignite ticking and the Vladimir being so low, the red team is going to be able to secure the second tier middle lane turret, which is pretty damn fantastic for it being a 4v5, 52.5k to 42.9k. We're reaching that flame horizon of 10,000 gold in the lead in favor of the red team. We're not quite there yet, but damn it, we are getting there. It's going to be curious to see who's going to go for the Baron first. I think that if you're on the red team, you would want to try to secure that. It's one of those, you don't want the blue team to take it, so you don't want to be fighting forever. It's one of those, eventually, like the Vladimir's been quite weak right now. Same with the Soraka, hasn't really provided a whole hell of a lot for her team, but eventually, everybody gets their items. The longer this game goes, everybody's getting regular gold, everybody's getting passive gold, everybody's getting regular gold from their assists and some kills and objectives and things like that. Everybody will get their items eventually, and then it becomes a legit 4v5 where the fact that you're really fed right now doesn't really mean squat because everybody will have items at that point. So the red team really needs to look for a way to kind of clench this game, and I feel like one of the ways that you do that is by trying to take the Baron. Of course, it's phenomenally risky. I doubt that it will work, but they are going to go for it. The blue team does have vision of this, but the Soraka isn't there with them. But the Baron's already at half HP. I don't know if they're going to want to stay for this one or they're just going to peel off. Looks like they are peeling off. The Rek'Sai is going to interrupt Huni's EQ combo, which is a huge amount of damage for him that they're not going to get. But Vladimir going to use that transfusion to try to keep himself a little bit healthier. And right now, the blue team might pose themselves to take the Baron. Are they going to do it? Are they feeling ballsy? No, they are not. So that's exactly kind of what I'm thinking, is that the red team's got to just go for this Baron at some point. They took it down to half HP in just a few seconds of dealing with the Baron, so they're not lacking damage on this red team. They can take that Baron very quickly, but the problem was the blue team had just gone in there with the Soraka, which is why she beat, and she cleared out all the wards. She got some vision for herself, and then they could just react in time. So kind of unfortunate timing for the red team to take that, but I don't think Baron is out of the question for this red team, just considering how much damage they're doing at only 29 minutes into the game. But it's 27-14, the current kill score. But of course, the blue team is going to stick in this game because it's a 4v5. Like, they know that later in this game, they will have the advantage, but I don't know. I've seen enough fed Kazakhs in my day, especially in the most recent patch when I was commentating Good GameCon. We saw some phenomenal jungle Kazakhs play, and those executes, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. He jumps in, he one-shots your ADC, Soraka can't react in time, and then it's a 4v4 with the ADC being down. If Caitlyn positions herself appropriately, way in the back, her damage is going to start chunking down your team. And that's a free dragon for the red team. 4v5, and they're still managing to take objectives and map control. Like, you can see all of the vision for the red team, which is just all across the map, in the rivers, in the jungles, making sure that they can secure these objectives without much issue. But I just don't know what this blue team's going to do. All they have to do really is wait this thing out for as long as humanly possible. I really want to see Huni win a 4v5 though. I think that would be very impressive. He's done so well this game at 8, 4, and 12. But I think the All-Star right now happens to be this Kazakh, sitting at 12, 2, and 6. He has 248 CS. The second most in the game is coming from the jungle Kazakh. So you needed somebody to step up when your TF went AFK or DC'd, and Kazakhs has. He is absolutely gigantic. It looks like we're trying to take down the vision. Oh, are we? No, okay, we're just clearing out the pink ward. But it looks like, once again, the red team trying to gain some vision control of this Baron. The Jarvan's going to use his ultimate on 3 members. The teleport coming in from the Vladimir, but already the Syndra's dead. The Vladimir's the next target. Jarvan just EQing out of there, but right now the Rek'Sai taking up a lot of damage. The Zhonya's going to be used by the Vladimir, going to keep him alive. Jarvan is now getting in. Ezreal's going to manage to take down the Kazakhs, just barely going to get away with that with an arcane shift, but now Jarvan and Vladimir are going at it. Thresh is going to go down. Vladimir going to pick up that kill. Ace in the hole being primed by the Caitlyn, and that's going to be a kill onto the Vladimir. That was a 4-for-2 exchange in favor of the red team, and Jarvan and Caitlyn are the ones alive. Ezreal was so close to being taken down by that Kha'Zix. He just barely got his arcane shift off, followed by a little bit more damage, and it was able to get the kill onto the Kha'Zix. But we're just seeing these team fights, and that's exactly what we said was going to happen. Vladimir was TPing in, but by the time his TP finished, the Syndra was already dead, and it was a 4v4, and their team's more fed. But the battle of the ADCs is happening. Caitlyn's missing every single ability. Didn't land a 90 caliber net, didn't land the Piltover Peacemaker, and sadly Ezreal got 2 Mystic shots off on the Caitlyn prior to starting that fight. So he definitely had the advantage in that one, and he took his 8th kill of the game. Man, I don't know what to say about this. This is such an intense game for a 4v5. And guys, this is why I try to always tell people to not surrender their games. Like, there are sometimes, sure, like, if you were getting absolutely raffle stomped at the beginning of the game and then your TF, like, rage quit, then I can understand you might not want to play the game anymore. But this is what can be done. Whether or not these guys are going to win the game or not, that is up to the League of Legends gods, who I pray to every single evening for good ranked stats. But this is what can happen if you play correctly. Focusing on the targets, getting your bursts on where you need to, peeling when you need to. And it's working for them. Luckily, they have a team comp full of execution damage, and they're managing to take down the squishy targets very, very quickly. This game is so far from being over that they have an over 10,000 gold lead in favor of that 4v5 red team. But once again, we have the red team at the Baron pit trying to get some vision here to maybe secure themselves a dragon when somebody goes back, but sadly it's just not really working out for them. Every time they're just prepared, the blue team has wards, and they're just ready to collapse on this red team if they do go for the Baron, because I feel as though if they go for the Baron, this could very well be the game for the red team. Arcane Barrage is going to come down. Not entirely sure what he's trying to clear out. He's clearing out some of the minions. So this is another thing that you can do in a 5v4 scenario, just to try to give yourself some advantage. If one person has to go down to clear this minion wave, right? Then it's going to be a 5 versus 3. And then you have the minions pushing on the top. Then it becomes a 5 versus 2. It allows you to push the middle lane with absolutely no concern. And especially considering that you have an Ezreal with the Arcane Barrage, you can very easily take down those minions from a long distance. Syndra is here, the teleport coming down from Huni, but they know that he's there, so not really going to get any element of surprise here anymore. They are trying to get in on somebody, but right now they're doing a very, very good job at sticking together as a group and trying to make sure that they don't die. Huni getting caught out a little bit here, but not going to be secured, but it looks like Huni is going to go over the EQ combo. This might have been a mistake. He had no backup for this one. He is going to get lanterned out, but luckily the Kha'Zix wasn't there to jump over to support him, but Huni basically being taken down almost to nothing and not really providing any damage elsewhere. I don't know what he was thinking with the EQ combo into the middle of 5 members. They should not be fighting this right now. They do not have the manpower to fight this. It's already 5v4, and Huni needs to go back. Huni is going to get caught out. He gets interrupted, but luckily the Thresh there with the lantern again, saving Huni's life. Very, very nicely done, but Huni is going to have to go back and try to rush back with home guards to try to stop this mid lane push. We just hope that they don't engage prior to Huni being back. You need his damage, but there is a lot of damage going down from this Caitlyn. The Flay coming out onto the Vladimir. Caitlyn once again just sitting here pod-shotting people. The Rek'Sai is going to get hooked out a little bit, but he is going to be down to about a quarter HP. Well, she is going to be down to a quarter HP. It looks like the interrupt coming through with the stun onto the ace in the hole from the Caitlyn. The Syndra doing a great job placing that stun. The flash, EQ combo, and now the ultimate coming down onto the Rek'Sai, but this looks like the Soraka ultimate is going to come down as well. The Kha'Zix is exhausted, so he's not providing the same amount of execute damage or isolation damage. The Guardian Angel is being popped by the Ezreal. Ezreal is going to come back to life though and try to turn his attention to the Caitlyn, but he's going to miss that mystic shot. And right now, so many people are low on the red side. The ace in the hole going to come down, land onto the Vladimir. He's going to body block that one for his ADC, but everybody is so low. And now the red team is positing for the Baron. They're going to go for it. Everybody is so low on the blue side that they can't defend this. They cannot challenge this Baron. They have to go back. It's going to have to be a miracle play coming from the Syndra if they're going to make this thing happen. But the isolation damage from the Kha'Zix and the Caitlyn and the Jarvan doing so much damage to this Baron. And that's going to be Baron Nashor for the 4v5 red team. I cannot believe it. Vladimir did TP in to try to make something happen during some kind of a flank, but sadly nothing going to come from that. We just basically wasted the TP on that. And now it looks like the red team going to go back, pick up some items, and come back to possibly fight for this Elder Drake. They did just ping it, so I think that's going to be their next thing. If they get Baron and the Elder Dragon, man, this could be the end of this game. My god, I feel like this has been an action-packed game. I have not been able to have a sip of water for like this entire damn time. Huni and Caitlyn are getting ready for that Elder Dragon. This is the perfect time for it. Ezreal's going B. He's not even at the fight. All he's going to be able to do is throw out his ultimate. They are just getting here right now. The Elder Dragon already at half HP. Rek'Sai is going to have to just tunnel in here and try to get something done, but he just used his tunnel, so he is going to be able to get it, but he's not going to be able to get it. It looks like the Kha'Zix's taking down the Elder Dragon, and now the Rek'Sai is going to die. Kha'Zix jumping up. The Kha'Zix is going to jump over into the Cataclysm of the Jarvan. The damage is absolutely insane. Vladimir being taken down. The Soraka being taken down. It's just the Ezreal alive, and that was a 4-for-0 exchange with a Quadra kill going on to the Kha'Zix. This could be a pentakill, but you don't want to overstep your bounds. You just got the Elder Drake, and you have the Baron. He is going to be taken down, going a little bit too aggressive for that pentakill. I like the gusto from that Kha'Zix, but the problem was they didn't have any minions to help push down this turret to get into the inhibitor. They really need those minions there. If the Kha'Zix were alive, I think this would be a lot easier, but I don't blame him going for that pentakill. I think most people would have tried to get that one as well, especially when you have the execute damage that this Kha'Zix has. But they are going to take down the inhibitor turret, the first inhibitor turret of the game, and the first inhibitor of the game, going in favor of Huni and this red team. They are going to go back now. Man, this has just been insane. I think they might very well have enough to do this. Their target selection has been so damn good that they're always taking down a squishy first. And they're basically making this a 4v4 fight every single time, just because of that solid amount of burst damage they have coming out of Jarvan and also the Kha'Zix. But the thing is, you have this Thresh who's managed to, I think the Thresh has been one of the MVPs of this game, because his lanterns have been on point. He's saved people during over-aggression, and when you have aggressive teammates like the Jarvan, like the Kha'Zix, who are jumping and trying to get an execute, you need those lanterns sometimes to get you out of a really bad spot, and Thresh has always been there to do that. His plays have been on point to get the Rek'Sai away from getting those knockups. He's just kind of the unsung hero of the team, allowing his damage dealers to do work, but also keeping people away from this Caitlyn, who 307 CS, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Infinity Edge, and Runaan's with now a Spectre's Cowl, is doing a ton of damage from the back line. I think if the red team does another fight like that one previously at the Elder Dragon, this game's going to be over. But it looks like Baron Buff is just going to be alive for a little bit longer on this team. The Jarvan is going to try to come in to do some damage to this Thresh, but, sorry, not this Thresh, this Rek'Sai. And it looks like the Lantern is out, just going to save the Jarvan from that a little bit. The Kha'Zix is going to be just in the brush, waiting for an execute, waiting for somebody just to get a little bit too close. The Caitlyn is now here for Siege, of course, one of the best champions for sieging in the game. The Thresh Lantern is going to shield the Caitlyn and keep her alive through that Arcane Barrage. Not really going to be much damage provided at all. And that is going to be the second inhibitor turret in favor of the red team. They are sieging a 4v5 and winning it. This Caitlyn is just doing so much damage to the turrets. It's absolutely fantastic. The engage is going to come down. Thresh is going to be taken down very, very quickly. The Cataclysm are coming down on the Ezreal and also the Syndra, but it looks like Huni is going to be taken down as well. The Kha'Zix is going to try to run away from this one. Rek'Sai going down very, very low, but not actually going to be able to take the kill for that. And it looks like they are just going to run away for now. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do, but when the minions are what's winning this game for you right now. They managed to take down the first Nexus turret. There's now just one Nexus turret available, and then that could be very well the end of this game. We're seeing another ADC versus ADC, but it looks like the Ezreal doesn't really want to fight that one. Neither did the Caitlyn, really. But, man, now there's just one turret standing in the red team's way of their victory. It's just 5 members of the enemy team and 1 turret, and you guys have a win. Vladimir's still not at full build yet, has that, the pieces for a Void Set, which is, I'm assuming, what he's going. The Caitlyn is going to get found out by this Rek'Sai, though. She has a 90 caliber net to try to get away, is going to use it. He's not stepping in the traps, though, so Caitlyn is going to get away from this one. The Rek'Sai did have to worry about standing in those traps. It might have been enough for the Caitlyn to take him, her down. I keep on thinking it's a him. I don't know why. I don't know. the shark. He's wearing like a man's bathing suit, I guess. I don't know. But 79.5k to 64.7k. Huge advantage in favor of Huni and the red team, managing to keep everything going this game when it looked so bad for them with the TF going AFK. So it's just been absolutely insane. 35 to 20. The next team fight would spell a loss for the blue team. The red side is going to take the red buff onto the Caitlyn, which definitely makes sense. You need that extra little bit of kite ability for the Caitlyn. And also, she's just sitting there from a very long distance, pod-shotting the enemy team, making sure that they can't really do much to her team, and just constantly throwing out damage there. And while the Thresh uses his Flay to kind of take the Rek'Sai away, but oh, here comes the Kha'Zix, gonna not get the execute down onto the Soraka. It looks like the Kha'Zix is going to be taken down. That is a huge turn of events, a huge turn of events. That is one of your strongest members who's now been taken down. Soraka is going to have to go B. Sadly, he just didn't have enough. Soraka used that ultimate, and it was just barely enough to save her. Huni's now being caught out a little bit here. Doesn't want to be caught by 5 members. You can't 1v5, man. I wish that you could, but you just can't. But the Caitlyn and the Jarvan are still alive, providing a lot of damage, but I don't think they can really go in 3v5. That is just asking for a death. Also, the Guardian Angel is still active onto the Ezreal. It looks like the Rek'Sai is going to go in onto the Caitlyn. If they lose this fight, this could very well be the game. The box going down to provide some zoning, but once again, the Ezreal does have his Guardian Angel. They are going in onto the Syndra, and Caitlyn is going to get the kill. Cataclysm going down onto the Ezreal, but he's going to Arcane Shift out of that one. The Rek'Sai has been hooked in. The Flay is coming down to try to keep him under the turret, but the turret's been taken down. The person doing the most damage, aka the turret, is now down. Jarvan trying to do some damage, but the Caitlyn is going to answer the Vladimir with a kill. Jarvan going to flash EQ combo onto the Soraka. The Soraka's going to be taken down. Ezreal's the next target. Ace of the hole coming down. He's going to flash away. Jarvan's not going to be able to secure the kill on that one, but now Kha'Zix is available. There is basically nobody alive on this team. There's only the Rek'Sai and the Ezreal, and they're both at low HP. Ezreal is going to get away from this one. They are chasing him down. If they get this kill, this is probably going to be the game. He is going to get slowed by the Kha'Zix, and he is going to be executed. So there's the Guardian Angel. He'll probably have his Arcane Shift available. He does, and he's going to get over this wall. He is, but it's going to be too late. The Kha'Zix is going to follow it through, and Ezreal's going to die. There's such long death timers on this. 55 seconds on the Ezreal, 20 seconds on the Vladimir, and this could be the game. There's only one turret left, and no one's really alive to stop this. I cannot believe it. The Cataclysm going to go down as well from the Jarvan onto the Syndra, and that's going to be enough. The turret is going down. They are now on the Nexus. No one is really alive but the Soraka, and that is going to be the game. 4v5 for Huni's top lane Jarvan. And, like, I can't even say that that was all Jarvan. He did phenomenally this game. But the Kha'Zix at 19, 5, and 10, man, just keeping everything together, knowing that they could execute somebody before a team fight, make it a 4v4, and then win the game off of that. Normally, an AFK or a DC would really discourage a team from moving forward, but not this team, man. They really stuck it to the blue team, keeping the game forward and getting the victory in the end. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy that high ELO commentary featuring Huni's top lane Jarvan. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this video with your friends if you did. Thank you for watching. I love you, and we'll see you guys in the next video.